All right, welcome everyone to Pulse Overtime. And I'm excited to have everyone joining us today for this session. We're going to be taking a deep dive into basically how to have this mid year check in, right? So we're almost halfway through the beginning of the year. And, at this point, a lot of us are looking at our goals and we're saying to ourselves, either I'm on track, right, and I'm crushing it. I'm a little bit off track and I need to change up some things, or I'm ahead of track, meaning like I'm already exceeding what my goals were. And now I need to realign to make sure that I can even do more with the second half of this year. And I'm joined by my good friend and business partner, Anna McKeel. And Anna, we're going to be talking about a document that we utilize to help with this, right? So talk
Yeah.
us a little bit through the BVC.
Yeah, so absolutely. So a lot of things that we talk about, Brendan, is it's hard to achieve a goal, let alone exceed a goal, if we don't know where we're at. And we oftentimes our skin crawls when we start talking about like facing the person in the mirror, right? Like really being honest with where our business is at and where do we need to go from there. And we know progress is incremental over time, but if it's not visual, if we don't know our score today, how do we improve that score tomorrow? So we built the business vitality checkup. And essentially, it takes the 10 core components of any real estate business and it allows agents to get really honest with themselves on where they're at and align that with where are they trying to go and what are the things they have to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to move the needle from a one number to the next number. So I'm going to pull this up and so you can talk our audience through it.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for that. So this document we created over the years, and it wasn't that we just created it kind of like, hey, this is what we think. We went to the very best in the business. We looked at the models and systems and tools they were using to have huge real estate success. Now, as individual agents and also as large, massive real estate teams. So this isn't just for individuals, this isn't just for teams. This is looking at it going, all of us, even if I'm on a real estate team, we are running a business, right? We're running this business and we know that there are 10 vital signs, right? The vitality of your business comes down to a very simple and easy to understand scoring metric, right? So when we look at this, and I know we have people joining us live. If you have any questions on this, let us know. But what I want you to think about is downloading this document, and there'll be instructions below the video on how to download this document. On doing this, and you should be doing this at least once a quarter, okay? Now, when we go through these 10 questions, and there are 10 very specific questions, you're going to be scoring your business on a score of 1 to 10 for that previous quarter. Now, if you've never done one of these and you want to do it for the first half of the year, absolutely fine. And then you'll get into the rhythm of doing this every quarter, every 90 days, right? Because we want to win every 90 days, the 12-week year. We want to keep in that rhythm. So the first one on our list that we talked about today is I am crystal clear on what I'm going to accomplish in the next 3 years in my career, with my money, with my health, and with my professional and personal relationships. So, what I want to do is, I want you to score that, right? And I want you to make sure that you have that score. One meaning you're not sure what the heck you're going to do in the next 3 years. 10 meaning it's so laser focused. You have it visual, right? And in our Pulse Power program, we have an exercise that we utilize to do this. That it's visual, you can see it, taste it, breathe it, and you know those four categories, right? Your career, your money, your health, and your relationships. Now, so clear, I'm not talking like, yeah, I'd like to have $2 million in my bank. Okay, well, that's kind of just a wish, right? Which is nothing wrong with that, but that's not clear. What we're saying is you have a strategy, a plan, and you know this is how it's going to happen over that next 3 year period. All right. So we're going to be thinking through that and making sure that that is an absolute priority. Okay. Now, the on here is that I have a powerful listing program that provides an exceptional seller experience, resulting in a 5-star review and referral from every satisfied client. Now, if you're one of our 6 live viewers on here, if you could let us know in the comments that we sound perfect. I just want to make sure that we have a good sound check there, Anna. But I think we do. But I always like to double check, so you can throw a comment in there and let us know. So I have a powerful listing program. 1, meaning you're not even near that. You don't have a great listing presentation, a program. It's not producing 5-star reviews. 10, meaning you're knocking it out of the ballpark. That's the score we're looking for there. Number 3, I have a powerful program for buyers. Same thing, right? Is your buyer presentation exceptional? And is it perfection, right, of what you're looking at there? Number 4, I systematically build relationships with my clients using a series of touch points that make people feel special at scale, produces referrals and clients for life. Whew, that's a tough one, right? That one is what we focus on all the time. See, ladies and gentlemen, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make people feel special at scale, and we have to build this amazing CRM or data management system to do that so that we don't have to work so hard. So we get that come list me phone call that, hey, I want to buy my 3rd house, my 4th house, my next investment property. We're getting all of those. Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate you. Glad we sound good. Thank you. So that we're getting all of those referrals, right? So we're going to score that. Now, I want to pause on that one when you're scoring that. Here's the test. Here's the stress test for number 4 that I think is extremely important. If you let me come into your database and just go into it, and it's like I'm in your back office going through your stuff. Would I see every person on a 46 or more touch system, right? Are they getting direct mailers? Are they getting market reports? Are you having 2 personal touches? Are they receiving at least four phone calls per year, one every 90 days? Because a lot of times when I coach the top agents across the country, right, they're like, yeah, I got that. And I go, cool, we're going to jump on a Zoom and I want you to share your database with me and just take me through 20 or 30. And it's not there. And that's okay. That means it has things to work on. But what I find is we've got 100 people getting a digital market report, right? That's not how you build relationships at scale. That's you've got 100 random people doing the least amount possible that's not building a relationship with them, and you can't understand why you're not getting the referrals that you want. You're not getting that repeat business, and you're not helping them buy investment properties. So really think about that number 4. It's such a critical one of all of this. Number 5, and the big word here, I have a consistent schedule for outbound prospecting, networking, social media, and direct mail that produces new leads on a daily basis. That big word being consistent, right? So think about that. Number 6, I have a high quality of life because I've mastered the art of leverage with the right people and technology. Now, Anna, you can come back for a second. I want to talk about this one for a second, right? So, Anna, I was just talking to a big producer. This is someone that does 85 to 90 transactions a year. 85 to 90 transactions a year, average sales price about $650,000, which means he's making $1 million a year right now, right? He's making $1 million a year. And I said to him, I go, why not 2 million? And he said, well, what do you mean? And I go, well, why aren't you making 2 million? I go, talk me through your last week. Like, talk me through your calendar. And Anna, and he kind of put his head down like this and he's like, yeah, well, this week was tough because I'm working with 4 different buyers and I had to show like 54 houses this week. Working with 4
Whoa.
different buyers, yeah, showing 54 houses. And he goes, I know I shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, so you don't have a showing assistant? And he goes, Brendan, I know, I know I should do it. I used to have one. I don't feel comfortable handing my clients off to people. And I go, that's a problem, right? That reduces our ability to scale. So he's going to eventually have this massive burnout. We know it's
Yeah.
coming because if you're showing that many houses and you're doing that kind of production, and I know some of you are going, I wish I had that problem, right? But that's why everyone's at different levels of where we're at. We have to now reset the plan and go, look, I'm going to make a commitment that I am only going to work with buyers at said price point personally. Maybe it's $1 million plus. Any buyer under $1 million price point, I'm going to meet them and do the initial meeting with them. I'm going to introduce them to my wonderful showing assistant who I've trained, right? You can't just be like, here's Skippy McGee that I just met a week ago and he's going to go show you some houses, right? You're going to get
Right.
annihilated. And there are people that are doing this. There are buyers agents that work with a ton of buyers that are selling 250 buyers a year. One agent, but they have leverage. They
Leverage.
have the ability to scale, right, Anna? And you're a big fan of leverage, right? You're one of the
Oh,
people that I know that leverage it up, whether
yeah.
it's virtual or otherwise.
Because it's
But you
so
still
worth it.
but you still struggle with it sometimes, right? Why do we
Well, it's
struggle with leverage?
it's a mindset, right? And so I want to say two things and go back because I think what people they kind of go, "Oh, burnout, schmurnout." Like burnout is if everything continues to go well. What we don't talk about is the disruptive financial repercussions. If let's say you are showing those 54 buyers and something happens to your family and you can't do that or something happens to you, God forbid. Right. And then, sure, burnout's like almost the easier of the two options. And that assumes everything's still going great. But without leverage, that means that if anything happens to you or your family, your financial security is on the line. And I don't think people realize that enough. So, leverage is certainly a mindset, but it's one of those mindsets that will set you free. And you always have to check yourself. There are moments where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if my assistants can help on this. And I have to ask myself, why do you think that? Is that ego? You're just so great. You're just so good. There's nothing that they can do that's even comparable. That has a lot to do with what I perceive rather than their abilities, especially if given the right training, the right accountability, and the right amount of celebration. I think that's huge. And you're also very good at that. Your leverage has been built around having that positive reinforcement that is, I think people get into their heads about leverage and they go, I don't know about accountability. Accountability is fun because that's also celebrating people's wins. And we don't talk about accountability that way. There's no better feeling. And I know you'd back me 100% when someone's face lights up because they got the win and not you.
You weren't well said, and the big aha here is the more successful other people are, I would rather have, right? I would rather have other people having massive success, and I'm getting a piece of that because
Right.
I've done the hard work. I've built the database, I've got the referrals, I've got the leads, I've done the right things. And now they're going to be that next generation that gets to come up and do the same thing and get those reps. And then maybe one day they become a partner of mine and they own companies with us and all of those things. So yeah, I just wanted to take a pause on that number because that was an extreme case of somebody doing it at a very high level. But leverage can also mean your technology. How
Mm.
leveraged are you with your tech, right? Are you using AI and you're going, well, I'm just not techie? That's an excuse. None of us are techie. None of us are good at anything. Let's be quite honest. We have to spend the time to learn it. We have to read books on it. We have to watch YouTube videos about it so that we improve our skill set so we can spend more time with our families. That startup time of setting it up and going in and actually building a database funnel and machine, does it suck? Yeah. Are you going to have to sacrifice some hours to get it set up? Of course you are. But it's the same thing. You got to build the Outback. You got to put the machines in and the stoves in the kitchens. You got to staff it. All of that takes time, money, and effort. And then you just sell a bunch of blooming onions for years and years and years and years while you're in Tahiti, right? That's all we're trying to do is build your Outback, but you can't just build it and then go, I'm going to be the chef, the hostess, the server, the stove, the like
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I constantly think about. So,
Right.
all right, just because
All
of
right.
time, I'll jump in, but that's thank you very much. All right, so now we're going to go into number 7. I know my critical numbers and I track them daily with weekly with visual scoreboards, right? So again, we can't know, we're not going to be able to know if we're getting better, worse, or staying the same if we don't keep score, right? I've been watching this Netflix special right now on the Tour de France, and it's so fascinating to me how they keep score of every single thing for this bike race, from weight to timing to the mount that the mountain goes up, the elevation. I couldn't think of the word there. All of this, and it's so dialed in so that they know, can we win this race with this team, or do we need to make some adjustments, and where are we not winning so next year we can come back and win the Tour de France? And you're probably immediately thinking, when I say Tour de France, the one way to win is just do drugs, right? Well, you can't do that anymore. The doping has been removed. Now it's science, it's technology, it's very strategic, and all of those things. So think about that. Number 8, I have a community of like-minded people who hold me accountable to my goals daily and weekly, right? So again, just think about this. If you go to the gym, any of these pieces, you got to have a community around you. Now, that could be you're in a coaching program. That could mean that you've got a buddy or a buddiette at the office with you that's holding you accountable, going, all right, we're going to go to happy hour Thursday night if we hit our numbers by the end of Thursday, and we're going to have a blast. Or we're going to go get pedicures or manicures or whatever it is, right? And they're cheering us on, and your family knows what your goals are, and the kids are like, hey, if mommy or daddy sells 19 houses in the first quarter, we get a 2-week vacation and we get to go to Disney World. They're all involved and they're rooting for you. If you work in a silo by yourself and you and you're the only one that know your goals, it's really hard to accomplish it. Think about every successful person, multiple coaches, nutritionists. They've got a swing coach for golfers. They've got people that teach you to do all these things for all this. You need help. So make sure that you're using a community to keep you moving. And that also helps with that mid-year stall out, right? Where you're like, yeah, I made some good, here's us as realtors. Yeah, I made some good money so far this year. You know what? I'm just going to chill over the summer, and then I'll really work hard in the fourth quarter and I'll be fine. Well, yes, you could do that, but the risk is that why not build a consistent plan and then build leverage so that you can still do all the fun things you want to do, but the money doesn't stop when you stop. Then number 9, I have all my systems documented and simplified to consistently produce the results I want. Score that on a 1 out of 10. Ooh, that's a tough one. And then number 10, I have processes in place for receiving regular feedback from customers, employees, so I always know their level of satisfaction. So, Anna, you can come back now with me. So Anna, this is the hard thing too, right? Is some of us think that our biggest goal as a real estate agent is to get a 5-star review on Zillow or whatever it is. Well, that is to a degree customer feedback, right? But when you really have this dialed in and you're surveying them on, what did you like about this piece of my business? What did you like? If you just tell someone, hey, rate my overall performance with 4 or 5 stars, that's not going to really give you any data to know. And most people are kind of nice and they don't want to hurt your feelings, but when you break this down into a survey and go, what did you like about this, or what did you think I could work on when it came to this, then we know direct feedback, and you can go, okay, yeah, they loved it overall, but they really thought that I had a 2 in my initial consultation. I wasn't clear and concise on making sure that the expectations that were going to happen were going to be delivered, right?
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I mean?
Well, and I
Right? Like,
also yes, and I also think we struggle with this one a lot because we get defensive when we actually get feedback. And so a
right.
lot of people will just skip number 10 because what if they do say something about our process or their experience? We go, well, but think about all the things I did, and that person is crazy. Well, how's that helping?
Yeah, every agent I talk to, Anna, every client's crazy. We get the same things all the time. You don't understand, Brendan. This person is nuts. And I go, no, this person is just a human, right? They're different than you. They don't think like you. They don't act like you. They don't come from where you came from, but they're the customer, right? They're the customer. Again, we own this restaurant. We're going to have every kind of person come in. If only people came into our restaurant that was just like us, it would be very challenging to make a living,
For
right?
sure.
Embracing the weirdos, embracing these unique characters, and going, does my system work for everybody, or does my system only work for a very niche, selective type of person?
You should
Because
be
otherwise, it's
grateful.
going to be hard to
Yeah.
grow a big business. Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
should
yeah.
be
We
grateful for
really
the
need to,
crazies that come out of the woodwork. Those are the people you need to be
right,
talking to more. Before we
agreed.
close out this
So now, oh
conversation,
yeah,
we've got
go ahead.
let's review back onto 4. Shannon had a really good comment, and I know you spent a lot of time building the database to get it to where it is today. So I need to learn to set up my database. I don't have it set up so that I'm building ambassadors in a systematic way. So give some advice to Shannon on how does she need to set this up, and really then chunk it down, because you can't just sit there one day and then magically have this amazing database, right?
Right. And I
Yeah.
believe and I know Shannon is a gentleman. So Shannon, right? I think you
Sure.
said she, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, so no, it's okay. So Shannon, let me take you through this. So what he's asking is, where do I start? And the easiest way to start in building your database is to start with your simple checklist of, I'm going to process every single person. And I hate that word, but I like that word, right? We use the word nurture, process. Every person that I interact with, I'm going to do these same things. Then, once you have that list, whether you're going to do 2 personal touches, one direct mailer a month, one market report, a listing alert, whatever your jam is, you're going to send them a sports calendar with a magnet on it every quarter, depending upon what this basketball, football, this or whatever it is, depending upon all of those things. You have to decide on what your model is, just like a car assembly line, right? When they're building a Tesla, the Tesla comes down the line and it goes, for every Tesla that comes down that factory line, we do this, gets to the finish line, drives off, and then we're good. What agents do is they go, I'm going to do everything sporadic, and there's no systemization to their processing, so they can't deliver a consistent customer experience. So you need to decide on what you're going to commit to. And then the first step is start super small. So start with processing yourself, processing family members that live in the area. If you don't have any family members that live in the area, because sometimes we think, well, our family would refer people to us. It's like they don't. You fall out of mine just like everything else. So then I'm going to go family. Then I'm going to start processing my immediate sphere. So people that I know like me, that would more than likely do business with me. And I'm just going to go slow. Because remember, for every 6 people, we call them ambassadors, that you have that are getting this full touch, they're going to produce you one closed transaction a year. So then you're just setting your visual goal, whether you're using our weekly scoreboard. I always tell Anna the story. I had a coaching client, and he lived in Georgia, and he goes, okay, I have to keep it real visual. So he has a huge house out in the woods and whatever. So he takes a huge bucket and he fills that bucket with pine cones, right? Because he had to pick up all these pine cones anyway. And it's funny because he used to have these buckets that he would use for client gifts, right? And they would
Oh,
come with
sure.
like cleaning supplies when you close. So he had these
Yeah.
buckets with his logo on. So he goes out and he collects all these pine cones. And he was like, all right, I think he counted them out. And he was like, I have 100 pine cones in here. Then he had an empty bucket and he had them both sitting in his office, these two big bucket or one big bucket of pine cone and an empty bucket. And he goes, I just have to get the pine cones from my one bucket into the other bucket. And I got to do 2 of them a week, every week. So this pine cone bucket will get into the other side by the end of the year. And when I do that, if I'm looking at the numbers, right, take 100, divide it by 6, I'm going to produce this amount of deals just from my database. Now, Anna, the challenge that people have with that ratio is they think as soon as you put six in and you process them, like this magical deal fairy flies out and goes, bling, here's your deal. No, it doesn't happen that second. It happens over time, right? Just like a direct mailer or just like any type of thing we're doing. I wish that it was every six that you fully process, you're going to get a transaction. Yes, you will, just not that second because you can't predict in your database when people are going to buy or sell. We just know that when we have a bunch of people in here, they're going to get us referrals. They're going to know that we care about them, right? That we love them, right? That they're in love with us. And when they know that we love them, they're going to reciprocate that love with their business. And I know that sounds funny and cheesy, but that's how relationships work in any business. Surprise and delight, right? Surprise and delight. So start small, get your legend, and get a CRM, a contact, management system, right? That you're going to utilize. Our pleasure, Shannon, and thank you for joining us. You're going to utilize, and I'm methodical on this. I go down the left side of my CRM and I go check, 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 just like an airplane pilot. This, and I go, ooh, you know what? I only have one personal touch. I'm missing a personal touch for Susie Smith. All right, I got her birthday in here, and that's a pretty good one. All right, I got to take a few minutes today to figure out what else is matters to Susie. So I go on Facebook and I go and think about her and I go, is she a mom? Okay, so maybe I can add Mother's Day. Those are very simple. Maybe I know that she owns a Chihuahua, right? She's got a little cute Chihuahua, and I'm like, oh my God, she owns a Chihuahua. People that own their pets, we know they're in love with their pets. So I'm going to send her a Chihuahua 12-month calendar. I don't know if I can say that word right. Chihuahua month, 12-month calendar that has different pictures of Chihuahuas on it so that she goes, oh my God. And I go, hey, I know how much you love your dog. I saw this calendar the other day. It made me think about you. Your friend Shannon, right? You send me a calendar with Chihuahuas on it. I don't own a Chihuahua, but if I did, I'd be
He
like,
owns a Pomeranian and he would
yeah,
love one.
I own a Pomeranian named Godzilla, and yeah, he's a whole different kind of beast. But right, like, and to say that my wife owns him, I just get to live with him. But right, like she would be ecstatic. It would absolutely blow her mind. So that's what we're trying to do. And then you just have to systematize it. So next year, you have to set a reminder in your CRM, in your database, that says it pops up on your calendar going, okay, it's the new year, need to order the calendar for Susie. And is this going to take time? Of course it does. Anything worth doing is going to take that extra touch. But I guarantee you, if Susie doesn't buy investment properties from you or refer real estate business to you, I don't know. Call me up and tell me I'm crazy, but I guarantee you she will, right? And then the rest of it is figuring out the automations that you can have, right? Automation is a big piece to this. So automations meaning digital market reports, CMA technology, and home bots and these types of things. So they're getting data, but that's all cold. That would be like if I what would be the example here, Anna? It'd be like
Well, I
go
think
ahead.
it's like what you always say. I think surprise and delight, tattoo it on your forearm. Everyone needs it because it's really a fundamental principle of any relationship. And you often make the analogy of if I only give a birthday card to my spouse, that's kind of like a market report. It's like I definitely did it. Check, check. I checked the box, and it's good. But the surprise and delight of doing something extraordinary or out of the ordinary to make that person really feel thought for and really kind of top of mind is why the market report then has value. The market report could just be another piece of junk email, and how many pieces of junk email do we get every single day? But that goes from a junk category to a value category based on how you surprise and delight the people in your database.
Right. Otherwise, the word romance would never exist. It would
Right.
just be, it would just be, I'm married or I'm just blah, right? And so, yeah, I love that point. So yeah, as we conclude this, think about completing that checklist, right? And here's the takeaway: do not try to improve all 10. Focus on one for the next 90 days, circle it, and go, this is the one that I'm going to work on to get from a 5 to a 9. Right, right. And Ray says here, if it wasn't for my crazy clients, I wouldn't have any at all. You ain't
Love it.
lying. You're not lying, Ray. And they're not crazy. They're just special. They're all just special.
They have
So
feedback.
yeah, so focus on one. Get one of your numbers in the next 90 days from a 5 to a 6, a 7 to an 8, a 1 to a 4, whatever it might be. And then the next quarter, do the analysis again. Look at the next thing on here that you feel would make the biggest impact, and then do that process again. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending the time with us. If there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. Always remember to hit the like, the subscribe button, leave us a comment. We would love to know your feedback on any of this. And if you haven't already joined our Facebook group, you can always join our Facebook group, Pulse Power Agents. A lot of free information on there that we're putting out. And then, of course, if you're looking to take your business to the next level, join our programs, use any of our educational products so that we can help you get to that next level. And thank you.
We'll see you right back here every Tuesday at 11:30 for Pulse Overtime with Brendan Bartic. See you next week.